This is awesome to be a part of this, and I'm really thrilled that I've been invited to be here along with all the others. So I'm going to jump right into my program. This is our house, and this is our home, and this is our home. A lot of people, myself included for a long time, thought that people were so on such a large planet that we couldn't have an impact on it. But the reality is the atmosphere that surrounds the Earth is very fragile and very delicate. And with the things that we've done with the burning of fossil fuels, we've added a lot of carbon particulates, carbon monoxide and greenhouse gases that have started to capture more of the heat that we used to have. So we have climate change coming along. And the Earth has reacted in many ways, and we've seen it with stronger storms, with floods, with droughts, with fires. And right now, our home is in danger. We in the United States are 5% of the world's population. We use 22% of the world's resources and the world's energy. If every person on Earth had our rate of consumption, it would take 6 Earths to sustain us all. Folks, this is not an experiment. We don't have 6 Earths to play with. We need to make some changes. The scientists have told us that the CO2 levels are higher than they possibly can be to maintain life the way we've known it, and that we need to do something to bring it back down. The only way we can do that is to reduce the amount of fossil fuel energy that we're using. The impact on our planet is high. We in the United States are a big part of the problem. We're not all of the problem, but we're a big part of the problem, and we need to be a big part of the solution. What people don't really realize is that their homes contribute a lot of the CO2 emissions that are causing the problems. A lot of people think, well, it's the big smokestacks like Kodak up on the ridge or RG&E at the Russell Station. But the reality is those are big contributors, but there are only a few of them. When you consider all the homes that surround the Rochester area, and there are about 240,000 of them, we all contribute to that CO2 emission. And if we can reduce our CO2 emissions and the amount of energy that we use, we can reduce the carbon footprint of Rochester, and that's our goal, to try to do that. There are a lot of things that are coming along. Well, I like to say that there's no silver bullet for the climate change problem, but there are a lot of silver BBs. And as I talk to you today, and as I look around in this crowd, I'm hoping that a lot of you are silver BBs, and that you will have an impact not only on what you do in your home, but on communicating that to other people and sharing that to other people. And that's what we're all about with Cool Rochester. We're about partnering with people, partnering with partners, with businesses, with churches, with schools, any kind of organization that already gets together to share some of these things that we're doing. So there are a lot of things that we can do, but the main thing we can do right now is to conserve, to reduce the amount of energy. So when we turn off the light switch, the energy shuts down right away, and immediately we're seeing savings. And that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for people to cut back to where it's uncomfortable. What we're looking to do is to reduce all the waste that's going on, because essentially 75% of the energy that we use, of the things that we consume, are wasted. And what we're looking to do is ask people to say, I don't want to waste it anymore. I want to only use the energy that I need. And the really neat thing about that is that's the best thing that can happen for our planet, but it's also, by reducing the amount of energy that you use to heat and cool and light your home, it is actually going to save you money on your energy bill. So that's the approach that we've taken. We're Cool Rochester. We're about saving energy, saving money, and saving the planet. And we're all about making choices. We have a program that we use that will help you to understand what choices you have to be able to reduce your energy. Our goal is to reduce the Rochester carbon footprint by 1 billion pounds of CO2. Now, you say, wow, that's a big number. What does that mean? That is 10% of the Rochester residential carbon footprint and 5% of the total Rochester carbon footprint. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's not a very big amount. We need to do more than that. But if we can do that, and we bring I like to say, bring a drop of water to the bucket, we can each bring our little drop of water, we can fill up a bucket. And if we can fill up a bucket here, they can also fill up a bucket in Syracuse and in Buffalo and Albany and in Binghamton and all of the other places around and then across the country. Rochester is an area that is, as we've talked about today, throughout the day, where things are being developed, and we are, in fact, leaders and models in many areas. We're hoping that Cool Rochester will be a model that other cities around the country will follow, where they can help to reduce their carbon footprint. What we are looking to do is to make people aware, to get familiar and comfortable with your meters, with your gas meter and your electric meter, and to realize that when you leave things on, that meter turns a lot faster than when you turn them off. So, we're looking for people to become aware of that. Awareness will help to resolve most of our problems, okay? So we're looking to not only make people aware, but then educate them in how they can save energy and how they can reduce their carbon footprint. We'll be supportive of the kinds of things that are going on. We'll provide training and some other issues. And we want to go about rewarding people when they've succeeded. We want to get together in groups like this and bigger. We've talked with Mayor Duffy about the fact of possibly someday getting the War Memorial or the Blue Cross Arena filled out to celebrate the savings that we've had in energy. So all things that we want to do. Whenever people do their part and look at that longer goal, I heard that this morning, that people need to put aside their personal short-term goals and look at the long-term goals of the community. How do we help participants reduce their CO2? We use this program called the Low Carbon Diet. When we've started to run some of these programs, we've had people that have come to see how they can lose weight. We're not talking about losing weight, but we're glad to have them come anyway. We have a program, and there's a book that we use, and it has about 24 different things, and they're not mind-bending, they're not earth-shattering. They're things that people can do. And what we found is that people really want to do the right thing. They want to do what's right for the planet, but they want to make sure they're doing what's right for them. And the good thing about this is what's right for the planet is what's right for you, and it's what's right for your neighbor too. But there are ideas that you can do, and it tells you in the book how much savings of CO2 you'll save by taking these actions. Some of the actions are things like washing your clothes in cold water instead of hot water. Maybe not every load, but one load a week. Not drying your clothes in the dryer, but hanging them out to dry. Using less water as you're washing dishes, as you're taking showers. I personally have committed to taking less than a 5-minute shower, and a lot of people say, oh, I could never do that. What I like about this program is if you don't want to do that one, do something else. It's okay. But as we've gone through, what we found is that people will skip this because, showers are people's, they're pretty private, pretty critical. It's like I couldn't possibly reduce my shower because that's what wakes me up in the morning. But if you've done some of the other things and you start to see the benefit, then it's like, oh, maybe I could do that. Let me just see how long I take for a shower, and can I reduce that by a couple of minutes? And the book talks about then what the benefits are. And because a lot of times when people want to do the right thing, they don't know, is it really the right thing? Is there something better to do? What if I did this, and this would have been a better thing to do? And so it's what I call paralysis by analysis. We spend so much time thinking about it that we do nothing because we can't decide what to do. So the book just kind of gets you started. But we like to use the book in small groups of 5 to 8 people, households that are going to make changes. And so you run through a program over 3 weeks, 2 hours for each of 3 meetings, and you pull together some of these ideas. You talk about, nobody is preaching to you saying you got to do this. It's saying, here are some things to do. What do you want to do? And people work together, and they develop community. When I've finished up these three meetings of programs, people don't want to stop getting together. They say, Jim, can't we just keep getting together? Because this has really been great. It's been really fun, and it's been really exciting. So what we're trying to do is make it fun, and that's what we've been able to do. How do we reach 1/3 of the greater Rochester population? That's a tough job. There are 240,000 houses in the greater Rochester area, essentially Monroe County. We're challenging ourselves over the next 3 years to reach 80,000 households. The only way we can do that is to get a bunch of people like you, people that have businesses, people that are involved in social organizations, people involved in schools and churches, all kinds of organizations, say, that's really important. I really ought to do something about that. Step up. Contact our group, get onto our website, and take the challenge. Take the challenge to see what your carbon footprint is and how you can reduce it. And then get together, we'll help you, we'll provide you information, we'll come and help you do some of your initial meetings if you need, but it's pretty easy to do. We have a book that we can follow, and so we're looking to do that with as many different partners as we can. We do have a comprehensive website, and when you sign up for that website and you take the challenge, you can go on and you can say, here's the groups that I'm supporting, and you can do about, I think, up to 6 of them. And so you can put your church and your school and your neighborhood and all these different things, your business, and then you can encourage your coworkers to participate. You can encourage people in other churches and other schools. Say, look what we're doing in our school. Look what we're doing in our church. How about you do that too? So it's what we call friendly co-opetition. So you'll be trying to get partners to help us, to work with us, people who are passionate about this, to say, this is really important. I like to talk to businesses and say, how would you like to give each of your employees an $800 bonus next year? And they're like, oh, yeah, how about an $800 pay raise? Oh, no, you couldn't possibly do that. Well, how about if you could take each of your employees and show them how by changing their energy usage, they could reduce their energy bill from $400 to $800 a year. That's like an ongoing thing. That's not a bonus. That's a pay raise. So those are the kinds of things we're looking to do. We need partners to do this, and we're looking for partners all the time. What does a partner need to do? And they need to provide us with a cool leader. That could be you. That could be you. It could be you. That could be me. Oh, it is me. I'm sorry. I'm there. Cool Rochester partners will encourage their employees or their clients or their constituents to participate, and they'll take it through. It'll build community within that. For businesses, it will actually help as people go home and put these practices into effect. They'll be bringing them back to work, and they'll start using less energy at work. So the business is going to save from that too. I talked about the fact that we want to make it fun. We want to promote co-opetition. We want to promote the idea of, how about let's challenge one another to make things better for all of us. Cool Rochester will provide you with an online account for all participants. You can get on to a Cool Rochester website and register with your user ID. We will provide leaders with training opportunities and resources. We've got resources on our website. We've got other resources that you can contact us with. We have weekly or monthly meetings to help out. We're setting up communities of practice, similar kinds of businesses. We've started off with some of the universities in the area that are getting together to talk about how the University of Rochester has done this, and RIT has done this, and St. John Fisher has done this, and so they're building on and helping each other to improve. So we're not trying to fight against each other, we're trying to help each other because it's all good for the planet. The last thing we want to do is we'll recognize and reward the progress that's been happening by offering and offer additional assistance when that's needed. So we are a small group of people. We are a small core group of about 8 people. We've started to develop partnerships with lots of people. A lot of people are very excited about the kinds of things we're doing. We want to continue to work with more and more partners, and we want to help you to become cool leaders within your partnership, within your business, within your school, church, whatever, so that we can cause this to grow and change. This picture is particularly important to me because when I first saw it, it was in the movie The Inconvenient Truth, and it's called Earthrise. It was actually taken out of the spaceship as the crew had traveled around behind the moon for the first time. It was in 1968. And I was watching TV during that time, and I'm like, are they going to come back, or are they just going to keep on going forever? Well, they did come back around the moon, and as they looked out of the spaceship, this is what they saw. It's called Earthrise, coming up over the face of the moon. And within a year after this, we celebrated our first Earth Day. We've now celebrated 40 of them, and it's something that gave us a new perspective on the Earth, a new realization of how fragile our planet can be. So to me, when I heard that story, that was an Earthrise moment to me, and I knew that I couldn't just be part of the problem, I needed to be part of the solution. I hope that some of what I've said today has caused you to think, maybe I can be part of the solution too. For our children's sake, we can't sit this one out. No one plays hard until someone keeps score. Cool Rochester is here to keep score. Not to tear anybody down if they're not doing things, but to show people what other people are doing, to encourage people like TEDx is doing, the same thing. We are coolrochester.org. I encourage you to take the challenge. Check us out on Facebook. check us out at www.coolrochester.org. I do have some handouts out in the lobby if anybody's interested in some simple things that you can do to make a change. They're over right just to the right, just before you go out the front door. And I encourage you to take a look at those, pick one up and take it home. Don't throw it away. If you don't want to keep it, leave it there. But thank you very much.